December 1956. Place, Vancouver, Canada's third largest city. Granville Street, with more neon lights per foot than any main street in Canada, is presently echoing the fun and hilarity of the Shriners' Friday night parade. All of the enjoyment and spectacle serving as a prelude to the second annual Shrine East-West All-Star Football Game. Empire Stadium, 1954, home of the British Empire Games. And today, the site of the final Canadian football game for 1956. According to the Weather Bureau, Vancouver receives an annual precipitation of just under 59 inches. And on this particular day in December, the city is in luck. It's getting all of it today. The turf in Empire Stadium is probably the finest in Canada, and now that the tarpaulin is coming off, it'll receive the added benefit of a good soaking. You'll recall that the first All-Star game was played last year in Toronto under weather conditions somewhat similar and wound up in a 6-6 tie. Then it was the Western running attack led by Edmonton's Jackie Parker against the Eastern passing offensive of Sam Etcheverry and Tom Dublinsky. Today's game could well be a passing duel, since both quarterbacks can throw the ball. Frank Trapuka, the Saskatchewan Rough Rider who set new passing marks in the WIFU this year, will have some of the best receivers in the West in action, players such as Lampman, Grant, and McNamara. The Eastern signal caller, Sam Etcheverry of the Montreal Alouettes, will have teammate Hal Patterson, judged the most valuable player in the country for 1956, to receive his tosses. All proceeds of the game, of course, go to the Canadian Shriners hospitals across the land, and everybody here today is out to support the Shrine's good work with crippled children. All of this symbolized in the ceremonial kickoff at center field, where one of the many kiddies helped by the Shrine is having the time of his life. Strong legs will run so that weak legs may walk is the slogan of today's contest. And it has a lot of meaning, not only for thousands of fans here at Empire Stadium, but also for the Shrine temples across Canada, the 52 All-Stars taking part in the play, and of course the many children who are direct benefactors of the game. Here's the opening kickoff, Ken Carpenter. Taken deep in the Eastern Territory by Cookie Gilchrist after a brief fumble, run back to the 31-yard line, inundated by a wave of Western tacklers. On the first offensive play by the East, Etcheverry's pitch out to Gilchrist is fumbled. Sam recovered, trapped by Dick Huffman, 2nd and 15. Here's big Buddy Tinsley, the West co-captain, in fast and hitting the rifle's arm, recovering the fumble on the East 10. A big break for the West early in the ball game. Coach Jim Trimble of the East looks on, not too happy. A pitch out to McNamara. He goes down to the 1-yard line. The end zone of snow and slush is beckoning as Normie Kwong cracks over into pay territory, the first score of the ball game. The China Clipper and the touchdown. Reggie Whitehouse practices for the conversion. Over the crossbar, through the uprights, and the West is in front, 7 points to nothing. Carpenter again on the kickoff. Al Patterson from the East 18-yard line. He is downed on the 35. Ted Tully, the principal tackler. Sam Etcheverry, number 70, for the East, back to pass, comes out of the pocket. He hits Al Patterson, number 30, for a short gain, and Patterson is tackled by Lynn Bottom. East offside on that play. The penalty declines. 2nd down, 8 to go. Etcheverry back again. A short screen-type pass to Patterson. Nice bit of broken field running by Hal, but he loses possession of the football. It's loose, and finally recovered by Whitehouse for the West. An East infraction on the last play took the ball back. It is still 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Number 70, Etcheverry, back again. Throws a long one intended for Hal Patterson. Broken up. Kruger and Miles are there to knock it down. 3rd and still 8. Cam Fraser in that peculiar kick shift, dreamed up by Coach Trimble. The boot is a good one by Fraser. Downfield, taken by Gordy Rowland. Nice bit of sidestepping until he is jumped on from behind, and down he goes. 1st and 10 for the West on the East 35-yard line. Kwong on the pitch out, a nice cutback. Good blocking by Ruby and Whitehouse in front of him. Eddie Bevan made the stop. The gain was 8 yards. His pitch out is to By Bailey of the BC Lions. Fargo, Blacher, Coulter, and Finney all in on the stop. 1st and 10, the West in possession, the East 22-yard line. And Jackie Parker, number 70, is nailed on the handoff from Frank Trapuka. Big defensive end Doug McNichol, the man who did the job. 2nd and 16 yards to go. Carpenter in motion to the right. Trapuka fakes to Bailey and is back to throw. It is long. It is into the end zone and over the head of the intended receiver, Jackie Parker, number 70, in the dark jerseys of the West. Reggie Whitehouse field goal attempt goes wide of the uprights. Taken by Don Pinney, and he slides out to the 1-yard line. The East in possession, backed up right against their own goal line. Echeverry on a quick pass to Patterson, and that limp is very evident as he goes down hard on the 7. 2nd down, about 5 to go. The pitch out is to Gilchrist, being chased by Bottoms, and he's down finally on a pile-up on the 1-yard line. Fraser moves back into the end zone to punt for the East. It's another good one, almost blocked, and over-the-shoulder catch by Lynn Bottoms, number 50 of the Western team. Here he comes back to about the 44-yard line. Trapuka back. Throwing out in the flat, intended for Carpenter, got his fingers on it. Don Pinney almost intercepted, but not quite in each case. 2nd and 10. Trapuka on the first fake, a short screen pass to Bob McNamara, and he just puts his head down and tries to pull his way down. He is finally piled up after a substantial gain. Moran and Fargo on the tackle. Trapuka throwing to Jackie Parker. Steve Honestchuk is the man who grabbed him, but there was offensive holding called against the West, nullifying the gain. Tremendous protection by the forward wall of the Western All-Stars enables Trapuka to fire that ball down. Parker is behind the last Eastern defender, grabs it into the end zone. 2nd touchdown for the West. Number 70, great football player, Jackie Parker. Here's the conversion attempt. Juggled momentarily by Trapuka, but Whitehouse makes it good, and the score is 14-0. The minute flag up to the end of the first quarter. Carpenter on the kickoff for the West. Don Pinney from the East 21-yard line, running diagonally to the far sideline, finally goes down on the 26-yard line. The gun sounds ending the first quarter. The West 14, the East nothing. We're in the second quarter of play now. The West ball at midfield, 1st and 10. Trapuka is back to pass. He's being chased by number 36, Big Duck McNichol, who wouldn't let him get away. The loss on the play, 12 yards. There goes Trapuka back again. This time the rush is put on him by Bevan and Newman of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The ball is loose, and Newman recovers for the East. 1st and 10 on the West 28-yard line. Sam Echeverry, the quarterback, number 70, going back. A good rush being put on him by one of the West hard-charging linemen, and he is down for a loss. 2nd down. Sam throws, but it's knocked down by Reg Whitehouse, who went diving through the air and sliding in the water. Fraser back to boot again. Into the end zone, number 50 is Lynn Bottoms, trying to work his way out, away from 3 men, and a 4th has a shot at him, and finally gets away from 2 more until he is down on the 3-yard line. Amazing run back by Bottoms. Carpenter is the ball carrier on the sweep around right end. Nifty bit of cutback there, and he is finally hauled down to earth. Honestchuk is the principal man on the tackle, along with Don Pinney. The gain is 8 yards on the play. Normie Kwong starts out left, cuts back sharply, brings the ball up to the 20-yard line. Kwong once again, that's familiar number 64 in the western backfield. He drives for a good gain. They're working that fellow to death. He's a little boy, but he certainly can go. Normie Kwong, the China Clipper from the champion Edmonton Eskimos. To spell Kwong for just a moment, this is Five Bailey of the BC Lions, the ball carrier into the right side of the line, short yardage. Very nice faking by Trapuka here, a handoff to Jackie Parker, who appears to be stopped, gets away amazingly, and down he goes until two Eastern tacklers make sure they've got him on the cold and wet ground. Pick up on that play, 20 yards. Short pitch out to Normie Kwong is worth 3 yards on the play. Trying Five Bailey on the right side of the line, he can't get any more. It is third down, about 4 yards to go. Larry Isbell, the left-footed booter of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Hoist one. Don Pinney picking it up on the 3-yard line. Nice cut away from the first man and the second and the third as well. And finally, Parker came in from behind. Pinney fumbles out of bounds. And on the penalty, the East retains possession, but they go back 10 yards. Etcheverry rolling out the pass, can't get anywhere, can't find a receiver open, is smothered for a loss at the 7-yard line. Firing down the middle. It's completed to the 24-yard line. Tex Robinson, the receiver on that. Down the middle again. This one intended for Patterson, tipped and goes incomplete. Second down and still 10 to go. That is intended for Patterson, almost intercepted by Ted Tully, who isn't too happy about his near miss. So it's Cam Fraser booting again, and Lynn Bottoms on the receiving end at the 42-yard line. Nice reversal by Bottoms. He's still going and pushed out of bounds at the 54. West ball, first and 10. Trapuka on a quick handoff to Normie Kwong, an opening in the left side of the line. Honest Chuck and Fargo make the stop for the East. Second down, about 3. Kwong again. This time he picks up sufficient yardage into the right side of the line for a first down. Western forward wall, offensively, is giving quarterback Frank Trapuka tremendous protection today, and this is another great example of it. He's got all the time in the world to get that football into the air. It's headed for Jackie Parker, but it's a little slippery, a little too hot to handle, and that's Don Pinney sliding home. A screen pass is completed to Bob McNamara. Fargo is the man who brought him down, and Norman came in just to make sure, and the East is called for piling on, and the referee steps off the penalty yardage. First and 10 on the East 29-yard line. Trapuka with one fake. Looks for Ken Carpenter way down the left side in the vicinity of the East goal line. And that's Steve Honestchuk defending him beautifully and tipping the ball into the air. Number 42 is Tom Moran of the Montreal Alouettes for the Eastern All-Stars. He picks it out of the ozone. It's the East ball. First and 10 on the 10-yard line. Etcheverry throwing to Dick Shadow. He is spilled hard and injured on the play. Roland and Bottoms, two defensive halfbacks for the Western All-Stars. And a great ball player, Dick Shadow of the Toronto Argonauts, leaves the game. First and 10, Sam looking and throwing far downfield. Broken up once again. The intended receiver, Hal Patterson. Etcheverry goes back, and Reggie Whitehouse puts the nail on him back on the 25-yard line. It is third down, 10 yards to go. Cam Fraser kicks once again. Another over-the-shoulder catch by Lynn Bottoms. Moving diagonally, cutting back, down he goes, and there's Roland right beside him who takes the lateral, and he is stopped in his tracks by Bucky Curtis. First and 10 for the West on their 40-yard line. Quarterback Frank Tripucka holds the ball on the final play of the first half. And the score at the end of the half is 14-0 in favor of the Western All-Stars. It's an amazing thing that in spite of the heavy rain, there is no evidence of mud on the players' uniforms at all. And this is quite a testimony to the turf of Empire Stadium. That same turf will get another workout right now with the special halftime program of marching and pageantry. And with the host temple for today's game, the Giza Temple of Vancouver, are representatives from other shrine temples, the Alizar Temple of Calgary, Wawa Temple from Regina, Khartoum Temple of Winnipeg, the Afifi Temple from Tacoma, Washington, and other Shriners from Edmonton and all across the land. And fortunately for the marchers and bandsmen, there are enough plastic rain capes to go around. A few rubbers may be missing before the second half begins, however. The Jeff Nicklin Memorial Trophy, awarded annually to the most valuable player in the WIFU, this year goes to Edmonton's Jackie Parker. The trophy presented to Parker by Jeff Nicklin Jr., son of the former Winnipeg Star. With the halftime ceremonies over and the Shriners having sampled the spongy field, the fans now settle back to see if the East can overcome that 14-0 deficit. Eastern coach Jim Trimble and his Western counterpart Pop Ivy with Jackie Parker watch Ken Carpenter on the kickoff. To Don St. John of the Ottawa Rough Riders, number 44. From the East 26, he is finally downed on the 35-yard line by Gordy Rowland. A handoff to Cookie Gilchrist, and the pickup for the Eastern All-Stars is just 2 yards. 2nd and 8. Sam Etcheverry, number 70, a screen pass to Gilchrist. He is tackled by Big Dick Huffman as Lynn Bottoms played leapfrog over him. 3rd down, and Cam Fraser, number 54, coming on to the scene of football activity. He boots. And Lynn Bottoms, number 50, can't hold on to that slippery football. Rolly Miles finally recovers back to the 41, hit by Curtis and McNichol and knocked out of bounds. Rolly Miles, number 62. 1st and 10, the little pro-type jump pass thrown by Tripucka to Lampman, good for 14 yards and a Western 1st down. Ball is on the 50-yard line. A pitch out to number 58, Bob McNamara. Nice running, nice change of pace, and away he goes again. A great performance, and he is finally ridden down to the ground by the Toronto Argonauts' Bobby Kuntz. Here's Tripucka, setting his sights on Jackie Parker, and he picks up 7 yards before Steve Onischuk applies the tackle right down around the ankles. A fast handoff to Normie Kwong. The boys have a look, and the officials waved in the yardsticks. It is good for a 1st down on the East 22-yard line. Tripucka fakes beautifully to Normie Kwong, rolls out to the far side, and throws on the dead run. His pass intended for Jackie Parker, almost intercepted by Montreal's Tommy Hugo. 2nd down, there goes Frank Tripucka back again. The big rush is on by Pete Newman, but amazingly enough, he gets the follow-away to Bob McNamara, who is finally knocked down to earth by O'Neill Scott. Tripucka, a jump pass to Lampman once again. He carries to the 8-yard line. Cam Fraser made the stop. 1st down for the West, goal to go. Normie Kwong picks up 4, and now Frank Tripucka hands off to By Bailey, who goes down at the 1-yard line. That's Bailey of the BC Lions again. The hole is a little one, but it's big enough, and Bailey is into the end zone for a touchdown. Here's Whitehouse on the conversion attempt. It is good. And the West leads the East by 21 points to nothing. Carpenter on the kickoff. Johnny Blacher of the Montreal Alouettes brings it back. And down he goes on the 37-yard line. A change of players as the fourth quarter gets underway. Tony Casillo, the Hamilton Tiger Cat quarterback, is in calling signals for the Eastern All-Stars, number 60. He is back to throw. His pass intended for Robinson is incomplete. Little Normie Kwong shivering and shaking on the sidelines. Snap is momentarily lost. Taken by Cookie Gilchrist. The ball squirted away, but covered by Kay Vaughn, the lineman of the year from the Ottawa Rough Riders. Fraser's boot, taken by Gordy Rowland. He is down by Bevan and Albright. It is 1st and 10 on the West 46-yard line. Kapuka fakes once. Still getting tremendous protection by the forward wall of the Western All-Stars. And a great pass and a great catch by Lampman. Fargo and Blacher come up to make the stop on Harry. This pitch out is the number 64, Normie Kwong. He knifes his way through the left side of the line. It's finally hit by Steve Onischuk and Norman. But the gain by Mr. Kwong is good for 15 yards to the East 40. Kapuka trying a screen pass intended for Normie Kwong, and Tommy Moran from Montreal knocked it down. The fake to Bailey and the pass down intended for Kenny Carpenter is incomplete. A field goal attempt by Reggie Whitehouse. It is wide of the uprights, and it's fumbled in the end zone by Penny, and there's Bud Grant, the Winnipeg end, coming in, recovering the loose football for another Western All-Star touchdown. Whitehouse on the conversion again, and his aim is perfect. The score is 28 to nothing, and the scrambles for football souvenirs of this Shrine East-West All-Star game continue as the lights come on at Empire Stadium, Vancouver. Carpenter's kickoff is taken by Don Pinney. Back to the 31-yard line. He is down there by Rowland and Fieldgate. It is 1st and 10 on the East 31. The pitch out is to Don St. John of the Rough Riders. Some nice sidestepping and some nice driving by St. John. He picks up 12 yards. Huffman and Kruger on the stop. Etcheberry's handoff to Cookie Gilchrist there. Good for 3 yards to the 46-yard line. Cookie was caught by Fieldgate and Tully and shaken up on the play. Lots of encouragement being shouted out from the sidelines. Etcheberry back to throw, intended for Patterson. It is incomplete. That was Ted Tully right on top of the play. Eastern trainer Pinky Lewis works with Cookie Gilchrist on the sidelines. Razor kicking. Taken by Gordy Rowland, and he is nailed by a nice shoestring tackle almost immediately by Moran and St. John at the West 31-yard line. 1st and 10. Kapuka passing completed to Ken Carpenter, number 34, down the far sidelines. He took it from the 39 down to the 48-yard line. Onischuk made the stop there. Normie Kwong into the right side of the line. His gain is good for 5 yards. 2nd down, 5 to go. Kapuka passing again, intended for by Bailey, and it is incomplete. Third down, 5 yards to go. Larry Isbell, the left-footed booter from Saskatchewan. It is taken by Don Penny at the 18-yard line, and he runs it back just 4 yards to the East 22. Popular Tommy Hugo of the Montreal Alouettes just going in. Echeverry's pitch out to Casillo. Goes up to the 24-yard line. Tony from Hamilton now playing halfback, and Sam at the quarterback spot. Screen pass to Don St. John, number 44. He moved it up to the 36-yard line, puts his head down, and just drives for extra yardage. Drucksmann and Kruger combined to stop him there. 1st and 10. Pass by Sam Echeverry down the middle, intended for Cam Fraser, is incomplete. Echeverry getting lots of protection this time. It's a long run down, intended for Bucky Curtis. It's no good. Cam Fraser is back in punt formation. He boots, it goes off the side of his foot and goes out of bounds pretty close to midfield. And there is the resultant expected scramble among the fans for that prize souvenir football. Now activities begin to resemble a soccer game with an oblong football on an icy pitch. And finally, some unidentified but fortunate spectator heads for the hills with a happy souvenir. The West in possession at the 54-yard line. Frank Rapuka still masterminding that play. There's a long one. It's way down to Bud Grant, and a great catch and a great deke on that man who was trying to get him. And for the second time, he touched back into the end zone. Another Western touchdown. Reggie Whitehouse is good again. His 5th one this afternoon. And it is 35-0 for the West. Tony Casillo receives Carpenter's kickoff, brings it back to the 24-yard line. He fumbled when hit by Drucksmann, and Phi Bailey recovered for the Western All-Stars. Rapuka forced way back by Scott and Albright. The ball is loose, but the whistle had blown to stop the play. 2nd down. Rapuka running out, looks for receivers, spots Jackie Parker, and it's incomplete. Isbell juggled the snap on the 3rd down punt formation, barely got the ball away. Went to Bobby Kuntz. No yards called against the West, so it will be 1st and 10 on the East 53-yard line. Echeverry at quarterback. His lateral goes to Casillo. Tony doesn't want it. He gives it back to Sam. And Sam fires it, but it is incomplete. And there are markers down on the field of play. The game is over. And so with a background of rain and cold, the final score in this 2nd annual Shrine East-West All-Star football game, the West 35, the East nothing. Today's contest, besides giving us some exciting football, has provided another step towards strengthening the weak legs for whom the strong legs ran this December 8th afternoon, 1956.